Welcome to Tech Talk Weekly. I'm Bob from Creation Station. This is our weekly show where we talk about two or three of the cool tech stories out there in the news this week and leave you with one fun library bit that you might not know about. Today, we have Chris Marhenke from the Cancel. Welcome to Creation Station Weekly. Oh man, see, now I'm all mad. Welcome to Tech Talk Weekly. Bob from Creation Station. This is our weekly show where we talk about two or three of the cool tech stories of the week, leave you with one fun library fact, and get you on your way. This week, we have Chris Marhenke from the Dania Library. How are you doing today, Chris?
Doing well, thank you. Yourself?
Life has been good. I just had a really fun time watching the NASA land Perseverance on Mars, and that was a really great thing. In fact, you know what? I'm just going to bring it right up. I'm just going to share my Chrome and bring that up right now. Did you get a chance to watch that live, Chris?
I was able to tune in just minutes before we started up, so yes.
Excellent. Yeah, I actually paused the record. I was watching the live recording as they were going through and doing it. It's an amazing thing. We talked about it on this show a couple of weeks ago. Now there are 6 different countries, 9 different robots up there on Mars going around. It's just, have you been following much of the previous rovers?
Some of it, yes. Yeah, it's always exciting to see the NASA folks. You know, we get excited for a moment, but
yeah,
they've got to be thrilled because they've been working on this stuff for years.
A decade, yeah. It's insane. And when you go to look at these things are huge vehicles. I mean, these are not like your little thing. These are your Kias. These are big monster regular sized cars that they're launching across space to get out there and do. So yeah, it's really good. It was really good news. Everything went safe and sound for them. They got some really good feedback. They have not gotten any pictures back yet, I don't think, but I'm going to go hit play again just in case to go see what's on their live feed. No, not yet. Okay. So we'll come back to that maybe by the time we're done recording, but everybody go to nasa.gov. It's an amazing, show out there. If you didn't watch it, you watch these people get really excited seeing these scientists act like little kids when all their hard work pays off. It's the ultimate science fair.
It's going to be interesting with this one. I was reading that on at least a couple of the other expeditions, they have had microphones, but in one case the microphone failed, and the other one there was a crash landing, and of course it was destroyed. So this may be the first time that we get any audio from another planet.
They've got so many fun experiments scheduled for this thing, and they landed in exactly the same spot that they wanted to. So now that they are going to get that ice check that they've been looking for and stuff, and it's going to be fun over the next few months as we start learning about these. I did see a comment from someone while I was watching the chat, and they were like, so when do we see the live pictures? And I was like, we will, but there's 11 minutes delayed. That's how far out these things are. It takes 11 minutes at the speed of light to get there. So we're quite a ways back now. It's going to be fun. Yeah. And speaking of other stories that we covered earlier this month here on Tech Talk Weekly was the one about Facebook and Google dealing with Australia. So a couple of weeks ago, we talked about the idea that Australia is putting in a new law that is going to charge specific large-scale companies, effectively only Facebook and Google, to pay for links. If you're going to grab information off of a website and show it in Australia, you have to pay for that. So 2 companies have taken really different turns. The one, Google has been negotiating and putting up different things so that they could pay different news sources, so they can pay them for the right to link to their websites and show their information on the newsfeed. And yesterday, Facebook decided that no, they're just going to pull out. Have you seen much about this one, Chris?
I was reading the article that you sent over. Yeah. It's
So let's see if I can find the
seemed like,
link.
yeah, like there you see Facebook was starting to restore some of it.
Yeah. And part of it was they got so overwhelmed that Facebook got so heavy-handed with it that they knocked out all government sites off of
Right.
Facebook also. And it was just crazy about how much, and it just shows, how much power some of these companies have where they are effectively doing, government work. And it's been really a challenge, I think, to see what can be done with this when a company is that large and has that much control over everything, what they can possibly do.
Right.
How much have you been following along with the Facebook and Google News stuff, especially the ones
Not
in
a whole
Europe?
lot, but in part, some of it, yeah.
Yeah, the stuff especially in Spain and Europe has been really interesting with Google because they don't have Google News like we do.
Mhm.
Period. They just decided to pull out. And now if Australia is not going to have Facebook, that's going to be an interesting thing to see just exactly where they can continue to go on. And this is obviously a changing story. If something really interesting happens with it, we'll update it again. I just don't see how Facebook can walk away from Australia. But
Yeah, because then
maybe,
what kind of
I don't know.
precedent does that set down the road?
Yeah. I mean, Facebook is trying to claim, well, it's only 5% of our people sharing in there comes from actual news sources. And I'm like, yeah, that might be an important 5%, especially if you start going over there and knocking out full government resources and everything like that. So,
Yeah, I think they were saying it was knocking out some of the COVID-19 information
yeah,
available to the public. Yeah.
and everything, all the police pages were knocked out for almost 24 hours between yesterday and today for what happened there and everything. It just gets crazy for that. And I think that you come back to the idea of, are these companies here trying to make money like all companies intend to do, but then when do they become a public good that they should be required to carry services and things like that? So it's going to be an interesting way moving forward to see, especially Microsoft 2 days ago suggested that this Australian law might be a good one for the United States also. Kind of a little dig, I think, by Microsoft on a competitor for search on what they want, but it's always a crazy change for that. The main story, though, today that I found this week was one on emails. Now, this is not something like, Chris, like you and I get in our emails here at work on a closed Outlook system where there is, read receipts and you can see all these things and stuff like that. This here, and this article came out from Fast Company, just in case anybody wants to go check us up on it, go up and read the full article on us. There is a way of tracking what you do in your email if you're using HTML emails. So what that does is it puts a single pixel, so a 1x1 pixel, so tinier than you can see, just one little thing, just like the image behind Chris there is made up of all those pixels. It's just one tiny little picture that you couldn't see. And what happens is that pixel contains HTML code that goes back to the person who sent the email. Just like in a fairly standard email you would get that has pictures of click this link to subscribe, or puts an advertisement or a picture of something on the page there for you as part of an HTML code. These tracking pixels are the same way, but there's no way of seeing them or telling that they're there. And what happens is that HTML code can call back to its mothership to say, yes, I was read. And because it can do that, it can track all sorts of information about you, including what day, time, place that you're at it, location data. If you happen to read this on your phone, for example, and your email account on your phone or your web browser on your phone has your location, it gives all of this location to people and everything like that. It's really interesting. For marketers, it's a great tool. Hey, I can see exactly out of the 10,000 emails I sent, which of these, which of the 10,000, who opened them and when and where and what time did they open them? Did they open them an hour later, 6 hours later, whatever? Did they not open them and just delete them? Because if you don't, you can deduct that way. What kind of stuff have you seen with that, Chris? Have you gotten any weird emails?
No, but not that I'm aware of, but maybe I was reading this and it was really frightening. They say it very well that those tracking pixels are creepy. That you don't even know. I'm glad to see that the article references some ways that you can turn that off or block it. But yeah, it was really, we know that Google and some of the other companies are using things to enhance what information is delivered to you and everything else, but where do they draw that line?
Yeah. There's for our Creation Station Monthly program that we're going to do next Tuesday. It's on coding. She probably won't talk about it, but one of our guests, I saw her in a presentation where she talked about how they can design their app so that they can detect how slowly you scrolled when you went past an ad or went past a post, so that they can see that you were just zoom, swiping through really fast, and then you slowed at this particular spot, and what was on the screen when you slowed and why, so they can grab that and track it and do that kind of stuff. It's really, intense how much of this we've just accepted into our lives nowadays, without ever really thinking about all the consequences.
Yeah, it's great that we have access to all this information, or the capabilities with email or instant messaging or whatever, but yeah, we don't know what all's behind that.
Yeah, I'm kind of interested about that because, by the way, if you are interested in stopping this, by the way, in case you are, which I'm going to guess a vast majority of people are, if you're using Chrome or Firefox as your browser when you're reading email, they have extensions in there that can do that. If you're on your phone, or if you're using a regular email client, like a program that you would download, like Outlook automatically has this turned off, so they can't do it through Outlook. I'm gonna have to go add my other emails. I've got my Outlook at home has 2 of my emails, but it doesn't have the third one. I think I'm gonna need to go add that third one in there now to automatically take care of that. But iOS and Mac, you can go in. It's all under your preferences, and you're gonna uncheck remote content is what you're gonna be looking for in those settings, or asking about displaying external images. If you've got those disabled, then these can't affect you at the time. And at bare minimum, go check your settings and set it to ask before showing. So at least that way you have some control over when this is happening to you. And the other thing that ties into one of my normal things for VR, because when you're in VR and AR, whatever you look at can be tracked exactly there by pixel where your retina's going back and forth. So we all have to get used to this idea that we're going to be tracked and we need control over who's going to have the data and who's going to use it, right?
Yeah.
I've got a more fun topic for you though, Chris.
Oh, good.
I got a much more interesting. It's something better. NASA was pretty cool. This one, not so much. But this one here is called the scanner in your pocket. And I know a lot of people are working from home, and it's tax season also. And you may not have a scanner at home to scan those W-2s if you need to scan them to send them to anyone now, or it's not now, but this is a really good reminder, and Chris clued me in that this would be a good topic to bring up this time of year, was using your phone to generate the PDF itself. So you can just take a picture of any document that you have using your phone's camera, create a PDF of that. Important to have a PDF because you can't really alter it that easily. You've got a good record of it. And then you can send that off to whoever you need to, if you're going to upload that onto a website for your things or anything like that. So it's a really straight thing, both in Android and in iOS. You can go in and generate it just by opening up your Google Drive and taking a picture, or you could go into the Notes app on iOS and take your picture there and be able to upload and do those. I think, have you tried doing this before, Chris?
I tried it recently, kind of from a genealogy point of view, with like a birth certificate, using the Android phone, and it seemed to do very, very well.
What kind of genealogy stuff were you working on?
It was on my wife's side of the family. So again, it was looking at scanning a birth certificate that's from out of the country.
Nice.
So,
and it's able to pick up all the detail on it and stuff like that?
seemed like it, like I said, it did very, very well. And then of course it was just looking at it on the phone, but you could easily enlarge it and drill down into, look at the detail of the text.
Yeah. I've seen also in Creation Station, we've had people come in with some stands to drop their phones onto to start scanning books and stuff like that, where they can put their book underneath it and take the photo up above and go click, 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 and going on through. What kind of a program are you using? Ancestry, or what are you using to do your genealogy?
I've got a different program that I'm putting the family tree in.
Okay.
I think it's called Roots Magic. The one I had been using went out of business a few years ago. But yeah, when plugging Ancestry, because of the pandemic and such, Ancestry has been available for remote access through the library website. Of course, you have to have a library card. Whereas before the pandemic, you actually had to go into a library and access it on a library computer. So that's been nice. I had used it before, but it was nice to dive back in remotely, not having to come into work or go to one of the other libraries to access it.
Yeah, I use Ancestry myself, but for a totally different reason, for writing. You can use the free website for Ancestry. You still have to see a couple of ads sometimes, but on mine, when you're creating new people that don't exist, a lot of the ads get foiled because they don't know how to connect me. So I'm in part of my writing projects and my fiction and stuff like that. So I'll make family trees so I can keep track of who's related to everybody and where all those. Oh, wait, your second cousin. Wait, that means he's got to have a third. His mother had to be related to this person, and go in and do the tracking like that. It's a lot of fun to do that stuff for my game.
Right.
And so, yeah, now that everybody has access to it for free from everywhere, it's been really useful. It's been a lot of fun. And Chris, you brought us a fun, cool library thing of some new books that the library just got in.
Yeah, we just received this past week. I turned off that background. About 9 different titles, I think it is, and going to Verizon
now for Great White Sharks. I brought up the library catalog one for the Great White Shark one here.
Okay, so yeah, there's a couple of Great White Sharks, and then several on the planets and moon and things. I took a look at one of the Great White Shark ones, and it's kind of cool because you scan a QR code on the front of the cover to download an app, and then from there, there's usually about 3 pages in the book that will have a QR code. It's like, so I can show this one real quick.
Nope, your background is still showing, Chris.
Oh, sorry, I thought I turned it off.
There we go.
There we go. So you can see there's a QR code on the bottom of that page. And if it's got the viewer there, then you can download that app onto your phone, start up, scan that QR code, and then it will start. And you can load, see if I can show this quickly. It comes with a little,
nice. So like Google Cardboard.
Put it up. Yep. There's a way to park your phone in there, and then essentially use it as a cheap VR viewer. and doing one of the great white shark ones. It was like I was in the shark cage underwater, and I could 360. I could turn around. I could see a sea turtle swimming by,
Nice.
manta rays, a giant great white didn't attack me, but came up, eyed me for supper. So yeah,
Nice.
very interesting. I can see where it's a really engaging educational tool for the kids.
Yeah. And those, I know that we're be giving out the cardboard viewers with the books when you check them out. And you can still do curbside to check out your books, by the way, everybody. So you can also call the library, put the book on hold, and we'll give you a call. Come pick it up. Don't even have to come into the building. And you get to keep that cardboard viewer because we can't recycle them. We can't reuse them. In the future, you could also use your Merge goggles. And we have those for checkout at the library, not currently, but soon. As we get some better disinfecting techniques on those. The Merge goggles you could use also with these because you could drop your phone into a Merge goggle and then have that set up there. And if you don't have any goggles, you can just do it with your phone. You can just look at the screen and look around and just seeing the screen. You won't get the full 3D effect of it. But it'll be, how many of these books did you think we got out at the branches now, do you think, Chris?
Well, these were the newest, the first and the newest ones. So there's 9 of these.
Excellent. Okay, great.
Assuming we'll get more.
Yeah. And then, and that's at most of the branches are going to have these by now. So, look it up in the catalog or give your local library a call. What else is going on out there at Dania there, Chris?
Not too much. We've got a staff member working on a project for bird watching backpacks. So that'll be coming up in probably the next 2 or 3 months, where
nice.
If you're really into bird watching, you can check out the backpack have binoculars, bird watching, identification guide, things like that.
That would definitely be something to keep an eye on out there.
Yeah, partnership with Parks and Recreation from the county as well.
Cool, fun. And that's going to be available at the Dania Library only.
No, there should be 12 backpacks, and initially we're envisioning that they'll be available at all of the South Cluster libraries.
Oh, great. So the South Cluster libraries are all the people in Hollywood and Dania Beach, going west out into Davie, all the way out to South Regional Library, all the way out in Pembroke Pines.
Actually, not Davie.
Oh,
Davie's part of the Central Cluster now.
Oh, okay.
Miramar, Pembroke Pines.
Gotcha.
West Park. Yeah.
Nice. That'll be fun. Well, thank you very much for coming along here today, Chris, and playing with us on the fun little show here we've got. Let me throw up our little thing here. As a reminder for everybody, you can always email us, creationstation@broward.org. If you have any ideas, if you want to see your favorite librarian or library featured on a week, let me know. If you've got a story that you want to send us, let us know about it. We'll take all your suggestions. creationstation@broward.org. We'll see you next week. Have a great day.
Yeah.